welcome to The Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia. And we're ready for this party today.
Yep.
I'm kind of excited about this episode.
And it's raining today. I'm excited about this episode too.
Yeah, but the rain is kind of dope too.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's raining all day long.
Mm-hmm. All week long, maybe.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, I do too.
Listen, have you seen the thing that I guess the Weather Center put out a flood warning?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was like, yo, it's been raining, but we ain't even on the flood level yet.
Right.
Give us a day or two.
Yeah. So
this place is so dry.
Yeah. Yeah, my crunchy cracker yard.
That's
basically.
What it is.
I didn't know, and Zach's the one that told me this. I didn't know, because y'all's grass is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. And Zach's like, well, yeah, you mow it like tall. Like you don't cut it too short, so that way the grass protects itself from the sun. Yeah. Last time I mowed, I scalped it. I scalped the grass, and it's crackers now. Has no protection, and I tried to water it and bring it back, and it revved up our water bill, and
oh man,
it's a futile attempt to save the grass.
You get an A for effort, though.
Yeah, well, an I for ignorance, because I didn't know. I didn't know you know, I was just like, shorter I cut it, the longer.
Yeah, you don't have to cut it.
I don't have to cut it.
Yeah.
Little did I know. On the subject of weather, so yesterday at, training the kids and stuff like that, last night I was tucking Kyla in and she was like, let's give each other words.
Love it.
And I was like, okay. And she's like, call mommy in here. And she calls her in there and she's like, we're all going to give each other words tonight. It was cool. Well, anyways, Kyla, she was excited about it. She's like, I'm going to get a picture. What else can I get? Well, how else does he talk? And so we're laying there and she's like, let's close our eyes. Anyways, we did.
That's good. I'm really glad they heard me say close your eyes.
Yeah, she did. She said, let's close our eyes. And I was laying there and I just kind of looked at her and she's just like, eyes closed. And then she goes, I got something. I'm like, oh, what is it? And she said, I saw the weather. It was raining. This was really a big storm, tornadoes. And then I saw you were like the weatherman. And you had an umbrella, a rainbow umbrella, like the one,
Oh, yeah, because you saw that one.
And when you were on the news, you told everybody that it was sunny. And it became sunny. Like the weather changed. And I was like, yeah, it was so cool.
How powerful, dude.
Because
I literally just got chill bumps on that.
Yeah. And I was like, that was just a legit one.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care. The rainbow umbrella deal, if she picked that up from anything else, it doesn't, that was a legit one that she got. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Just like the meaning of that.
Yeah.
And I kind of talked to her a little bit about what that meant to me, And it was cool. And then a word I gave her, I was able to use that as well. It's like, yeah, we're the forecasters of the weather in the region, Anyways, it was cool. It was fun to see the payoff of that. Well, another thing I was telling Kelsey about this that I appreciate about you giving words, and I always try to be intentional about it, and I will, and then I forget. But on teams, you go for the words of knowledge, you go for the specifics of it. And I appreciate that. And
That's
sometimes
sweet.
I'll get the word I get. And I don't really think about it. I have started to go deeper into it and asking the why and stuff.
Yeah.
But the specifics, there's more to be had in it. Anyways, I appreciate that. And that's encouraging for me and other people too, to go for that stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was
Teams
legit
yesterday
too.
Was so fun.
Yeah. It was very real.
Yeah. Just to be able to really.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, and I've told the Lord this, one of my deepest desires is to bring restoration to families. Mm-hmm. And so I get a lot of words of knowledge about families.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was just but to bring that and to bring that hope right back into them. Yeah. It was cool.
It is cool.
It was cool to see that. But it's funny, when we were on teams, I actually thought about this. You deliver such accurate words about inventions, about things being created.
Yeah.
You flow in that. The word of knowledge about the film director.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you've had so many things about like creating stuff.
Creativity and that
and
purpose.
Creativity. Yeah. Like that seems to be the vein that you really nail. Not that you don't otherwise. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But like it comes out like smooth, like butter.
I think that's an aspect that the Lord shows me of people when I look at them and look at their heart.
Yeah.
A lot of it, and even just the basic encouragement of people, especially up here and stuff like that, is I'll look for the core of somebody, like their creative destiny or like their purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like I want to bring that out of people. Like don't settle for something that's not, you know, God. If God put something in there, like go for it because He'll fulfill it.
Yeah.
You know, just with different things. If somebody's wanting to, I don't know.
But I think it's beautiful because it's like the things that are our strengths and even just the deepest desires of our heart, like we can pull that out in other people. There's the authority
to pull that out of other people.
It's 100% authority.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, it's fun. It's always fun doing that.
Oh, yeah. It was fun yesterday because you and I kept getting such similar words.
I know it. Oh, I know it. Yeah, when they line up.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible.
Every time, too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally 3 people. It was just like, oh, yeah, I saw that. Oh, yeah, and that, and that.
The rainbow stuff?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah.
Seeing the same rainbow.
Oh, that's been happening on teams a lot. That's just been happening in general.
That's so cool.
All connected to the same.
Oh, yeah.
Same source, you know?
And that's like if you like doubt prophecy and you're like, I don't know if that's real. Dude, go get around people who are actually functioning in it. Your mind will be blown.
Yeah.
Blown.
Right.
Because it's everywhere.
Yeah. So cool.
But speaking of authority, I think this goes hand in hand with where we were going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Because Zach and I were talking about this today. You know, like the other gods, like Baal and Ashtaroth and
Molech
and Ishtar. And I was listening to a guy who was talking about like these gods.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're like Greek gods. But this guy was talking and he was like, no, all these gods are real.
Yeah.
All of them are. And some of them were assigned, you know, the Deuteronomy 32 worldview. So it's Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9, about how they were appointed over the nations.
Yeah.
And these are the Elohim. Well, he was just talking about how Ishtar and Ashtaroth and Baal, like these were the gods that were assigned over, but they led all the people astray.
Yeah.
And so God was like, yo, because y'all did not do this in the way that I had desired, you know, you've corrupted, you've corrupted all of humanity. I'm going to come settle it. And, you know, he came down and flip and reverse the whole thing. So we don't have to dwell under any, anything, like no power, no principality.
Yeah.
Nothing. We actually have the authority to take him over now.
Yeah.
Because he put his spirit within us. But Zach and I were talking about like, he was like, yo, so if Baal, because the guy was saying like Baal was over the weather.
Yeah. Right.
And he was talking about that and like, well, if Baal was over the weather, like, what do you think he ever tried to do something like where he'd go in where a drought was and then try and send rain? And I was like, I don't think so. I think that they like actually purposefully tried to corrupt humanity because they saw how good they were.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of just were talking through stuff. And I was like, I think it's actually our responsibility as sons of God to actually render the things that God wants on the earth.
Right.
If it's supposed to rain, I think we are supposed to call down the rain.
Yeah.
You know, like if there's a drought, like step into your authority. If there is sickness in your region, step into your authority.
I think so too.
You know, like this is the partnership. This is the partnership with heaven that we have is to actually plant it here on the earth.
Right.
And I think that looks like displacing droughts.
Yeah.
And displacing, influenza and diseases and
all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Not just for you, absolutely for you and your household.
Yeah.
But for a region.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
But
yeah, what a nice little trick too, like the weather god, to make you think that, you know, humanity, we're here to subdue the earth like it's ours.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, way to make us think we're not empowered.
Totally. And that you're subject to other things or subject to things of this world.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, really subject to anything.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not subject to anything.
Right.
But I think that's the illusion.
That's all it is an illusion. Yeah.
I think that's like the, Paul says like it's the powers and the principalities, right? So those are things over the region that I think, like we've talked about, groupthink.
Yeah.
There's been a collective agreement.
Yeah.
That this can squat here.
Right.
And I think that us stepping into our authority is like, yo, that thing can't stay here anymore. This place is the kingdom. This is the New Jerusalem. This is the abode of Yahweh.
Yeah.
So get on up.
Yeah.
Get on up out of here.
Right.
I'm just kidding. But
that's it. Well, then that boils down to a lot of these spiritual, possibly physical beings that are all around the world, all these different creatures and stuff too, have stemmed from that, from that Deuteronomy 32, the Nephilim and these gods that are over all these regions and all the intermingling. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Bigfoot, skinwalkers.
You name it.
Yeah, you name it. So
there were a couple of things that I've been listening to this podcast about skinwalkers. And I know there's that scripture that was like, think little of evil.
Yeah.
But I also think that you have to be aware of the evil.
Yeah.
You just don't have to dive into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, pursue witchcraft. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But I think you absolutely need to be aware of the spiritual battle that you're in.
Oh, yeah.
But I was trying to find that thing that you sent me of, here it is. So, all the supernatural creatures.
Oh, yeah.
And the beasts and the beings. So think about this like this, right? So you've got skinwalkers.
Yeah.
Those are shapeshifters.
Yeah.
I heard a guy say this the other day, but like, have you ever wondered why God told Joshua, like, annihilate all of them?
Uh-huh.
Like, going into Jericho or Ai, like, he's like, hey, don't leave any of it. Like the women, the children, all of the animals.
Yeah.
But there was only certain ones.
Yeah.
That he was like, hey, annihilate all
Clear
of them.
Out, yeah.
Some he actually permitted them to hold on to other stuff.
Right.
But the guy was like, yeah, because those regions were known to have shapeshifters.
Mm-hmm.
They were known, like the god that they were serving, which is what a skinwalker is.
Uh-huh.
They would shapeshift into like little kids, or they would shapeshift into, and I think
an animal or something,
an animal,
dog,
and that's why he was like, hey, you've got to annihilate the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And I think that spirit was within all of them.
Yeah.
I think those were different types of beings. They were not humans.
Right.
It was not. But that's why he was so adamant about like, yo, kill it all.
Yeah.
Because the thing would shapeshift and try and find another way in.
Right.
And I think that's where it's like, hey, there should be no compromise.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no compromise within you. So like, if there is something that you're dealing with, it may take on a different shape. It may take on a different form.
Yeah.
But don't let it come in that way either.
Try to find a different place to go. Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought that was interesting. Like these beings are like next level.
Yeah.
Like it is like Sasquatch. It is like that floating head dude. You know?
Yeah, the gray, the melon heads.
Yeah, the melon heads. Yo, that's like that vision that Laurel had, or that trance.
Oh, it is.
Those floating heads, the melon heads,
right,
literally showed up to her as different people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
And tried to make her worship them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating to me.
I got to pull this up. Oh, there they are. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so these guys are like the goat man. The goat man is actually known as the god Pan.
Yeah.
Which is panic.
Oh, right.
He induces fear within people. And I think that's, if we're going to just be honest, like that's kind of the partnership that a lot of people take agreement with, is that God.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the goat man.
Mm-hmm.
Another aspect of that. A La Llorona, that one's interesting. They're all interesting, like the shape-shifting thing and how their spiritual relation, like the way that they function, the way we see them physically, and then the way that they function spiritually, that spirit. La Llorona, there's one story I heard of, I can't remember where, and it was somebody that I knew that witnessed this. They were, out in a cemetery, and they were walking up, and there was a girl crying, which this is along the lines of La Llorona. It's a girl in the white dress with, black hair that hangs down, that kind of creepy thing.
Oh, yeah.
But you see her, and she looks pretty, very attractive. And as you get closer, you realize she's an absolute monster, hideous monster. And then she, I don't know if she attacks you or what, but that's interesting as well.
I had a dream within a dream with that very being.
Really?
Yep. And it was trying to entice specific individuals very sexually.
Yeah.
And I stood up against her.
Yeah.
And actually, I had a full-blown fight with her.
Wow.
And for lack of better words, I went after her.
Yeah.
And it was a dream within a dream. And then as I was coming out of it, after I literally defeated her.
Yeah.
But it was nasty. It was nasty what she had turned into.
Yeah.
I was given a pair of shoes and they were dunked into water and they were pure white.
Nice.
And I was given them after that.
After the confrontation?
Yeah. But it was because it was actually coming against certain members of my family.
Yeah. Wow.
And I got to confront that thing. But I've seen her. Literally, I've seen it. That ain't no joke.
Interesting.
That was back in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
2016.
I encountered possibly Ishtar a long time ago in the form of a rabbit. And it was along the lines of seduction and all these things. And she tried to, dream language, she tried to wrap herself around people, you know? And once she did, she would hypnotize them. But it was that fertility. It was fertility was all littered all throughout it, It's like, oh, it's the damn Easter bunny.
Yep.
It's a demon,
Oh, yeah.
But I love the ones in the dreams when you do encounter them. Oh, I love them so much. It's like the healing dreams. It's like the Lord gives you these things and he allows you to confront these things, and it becomes, in the dreams, it's so real.
Oh, yeah.
And then in real life, you can take that with you and it becomes more and more real. And anyways, I had one, it was disease. I was in a hospital, and this was probably 2 years ago. But I was in a hospital, and I had some family members in there. And there was this disease that tried to latch onto itself. But in the dream, the disease was on the hospital bed. And it was it was basically like rotted skin with bones and fingernails and stuff. And it was, what was it? It was cancer. And it was cancer from cigarettes specifically. That's where it came from. But I remember looking at it, and it was in the hospital. So it's well, we have to do this. We have to hook up to this and start doing the chemo and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just read this the other day, but I was looking at it as they're reading all this stuff, and I'm just no. And I just said something along the lines of in the name of Jesus, be gone. And it started screaming, and it just dissolved.
Wow.
And I really believe that I healed somebody in the spirit.
Yeah.
And they will never know what cancer is like because of that.
That's incredible.
But the ability to confront them in those dreams. And they run too.
They show
if you bring up the name, if you bring up Jesus in it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I don't know if I've had one where they're not
where they don't scream.
They don't cringe, But that's the thing about all these dark things. And I talked about this the other day. But the thing about it, it's all these things exist. The world is so much bigger and more vast than it's been given credit for, and I think they try to hide it.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing about it is the darkness, I think a lot of them would prefer to not be known. They would prefer that we believe they don't exist.
Yep.
Because if we did, it would force us to believe in the supernatural. It's okay, well, that's real. And then I think whenever people do have interactions with demonic entities or, spiritual beings, even non-believers, I think universally, pretty much, everybody knows in a moment like that, it's like, oh, let me get my cross, or like the name of Jesus. Invoke the name of Jesus. And people know it. Mm-hmm. They know he's the king,
Yeah.
Of light. And so that's what's so cool about it. And that's why we talk about it.
Yeah, dude.
We're on the offensive.
Yeah.
We clear those things out.
And that's like in the dreams, like I knew it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
I knew that I wasn't dealing with this thing.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I'm here to confront this thing. Yeah. The power within me, like the Spirit of the Lord is upon me.
Yeah. And you're entrusted with that.
Yeah.
Take that thing out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I think sometimes you can get like all navel gazy.
Yeah.
Of like, oh man, this thing came.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, no.
That or like it's coming after you or something.
Like, but no.
Yeah.
Like, no, you confronted it because you're on the offensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you haven't made a partnership with it.
No.
I mean, if you have, acknowledge that thing.
Yeah.
And then let it go. But it's being able to like run into things.
Yeah.
Run into things and like know how powerful you are.
Yeah.
With so much courage.
Yeah.
And so much strength.
Right.
And so what if they're shapeshifters? Here's the deal. You can recognize things by the Spirit.
Right.
It doesn't matter what shape it takes. You can see it for what it is because it doesn't carry the nature of the Lord.
You're right.
And if it doesn't carry the nature of the Lord, then it's not a part of us.
Yeah.
It's not a part of our family.
Right.
It stood against us.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it's like, it's very simple and,
It's all completely rooted in how good God is.
Yeah.
And like, he's our dad. He's for us, that kind of thing. The stability of that. Of the foundation. That's what it's all rooted in.
Yeah.
And with that, he comes the inheritance of like conquest,
Yeah.
Or the honor of walking out the conquest because it's already happened. It's already been done, taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like it. It's like we get to contend. We get to be the ones that pull heaven into this reality.
Yeah.
Or even more, not even just pull, but like unveil.
Yeah.
Unveil what's already happened.
Yeah.
And put it on display.
That's it. Yeah.
We get to put it on display. We get to showcase it of like, yo, this is what happened 2,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is all that he paid for.
Yeah.
And we are the conduits of it.
Reprove the world of judgment. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ruler of this world's been judged.
Yeah.
We just get to flip it and show him. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
This was, this happened to me the other day. Just thinking about like choosing to put this thing on display.
Yeah.
Is I got a word for a girl at Jason's Deli. And I walked up to her and I was like, hey, this is really strange, but I felt like you were highlighted to me. And this is bizarre, but I felt like the Lord Jesus had some encouragement for you. Do you mind if I share it with you? And she was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And just like shut it down. And you could feel the disdain coming from her. And I was like, okay, no big deal.
Yeah.
I was like, just so you know, like you have so much goodness in you. And she goes, yeah, you too. And like, it was so, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a little bit of adrenaline because I'd already had adrenaline, honestly.
Yeah.
I always have adrenaline when I'm going to talk to strangers.
Yeah. Well, then when there's a reaction like that, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it because of how pointed the word was that the Lord gave me.
Yeah.
And it was so sharp and it was so clear.
Yeah.
I was like, that, man. So I was processing it with the Lord while we were eating, just kind of like sitting. Yeah. And it was so sweet because he was like, hey, remember, she just rejected me. She didn't reject you.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's right. And he said, it's because, or he said, pray for her because in the face of rejection, like you can actually bless her. Yeah. And I felt like, oh, this is the blessing of heaven that I can actually tap into to release over her. It doesn't matter that she rejected the word.
Yeah.
I feel like the Lord is knocking on her door, so somebody else is going to come and going to actually, I think the Lord is relentless in doing things.
Yeah.
But the other thing Zach and I got talking about with is, what if that was a word of faith for her?
Yeah.
What if that was the Lord knocking on the door and she was having an opportunity to partner with him?
Yeah.
on something brilliant that was coming into her life, but she chose she didn't want it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, that broke my heart because I was like, she just missed out on a blessing.
Yeah.
It'll come back around because he's that good.
He is.
But she had a moment of that.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of started thinking.
Something very tangible that she could have latched onto.
Oh, yeah. Because the word was so freaking. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you ever have those where you're just like, I know this is God and I know it's God.
Yeah.
And this, I mean.
Yeah.
Anyways, because sometimes it's just like, oh, that's an encouraging word. But this one was so flippin' specific. I just started to think like, oh my gosh, I never want to miss out on something, Lord, because of my own stubbornness or my own pain. I want to look at all of my pain. Yeah. I'll look at every single thing that comes up. I want to look at anything that you put on my plate because I don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
And not saying that, but I do. I do. I think we have the choice of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether we're going to use our partnership of authority or we don't.
Yeah.
But anyways, the whole rejection thing made me think of that.
Yeah.
Oof. Of just really like our authority.
Yeah.
And like when we feel betrayed or when we feel rejected or we feel like, like, yo, I had something and it didn't go that way. Mm-hmm. It's like, take that and lay it before the Lord. Yeah. Because there's something there for you to eat of.
Right.
There's something there to connect to him in.
Yeah.
But.
That's interesting too. When you're presented with those things, it makes me think of what Dory said. I can't remember the specifics of it, but it was about the SOS thing in the sand. Anyways, it boiled down to like, basically you're either a victim or you're a victor. You're either the recipient of a circumstance or of something, or you're the more than conquerors. It's like one or the other, which goes back to love and fear.
Yeah.
It's like, but that was an interesting one. And I can't remember what she said. Golly, we just need to get her in here.
I know. I would love to have her on the show.
Yeah.
She is one of my favorite all-time people.
Yeah. She's solid. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah.
I love that. It's so true though. It's like you have at any intersection point, because I think sometimes we can get into a place where we're feeling pain and then we don't want to kind of go into that.
Yeah.
Because we feel like it's not faith.
Yeah.
Like hypothetically, like, oh, Zach is just getting on my nerves so much and da-da-da-da-da. Like, instead of looking at the fact like, yo, I actually have an offense towards my husband. Right. That's why he gets on my nerves. It's because I'm offended towards him. Yeah. Instead of looking at that, we're just like, well, I'll just pray for him. And like, oh, it's just, I'm believing for him. Yeah. And it's like, no, you're not. Look at the pain that you're holding.
Right.
Look at that and take it to the Lord and be like, yo, I feel really disappointed in my marriage. Yeah. Or, yo, I feel really disappointed in this space. Like, I think the Lord wants to speak into so many points of our pain. But we have, I think, certain aspects that we fear him in. Yeah. Because we feel like if he points out, like, yo, you're holding on to that, we feel like we're going to be bad or we're going to be punished by him. Right. Like, we have that punishment paradigm. I think a lot of us do, honestly. Yeah. That can be fully released and realize like, yo, you're not punished for anything. Yeah. Like the penalty of all of that was swallowed up.
Yeah. Like that's not even a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
rooted in fear.
It's a love paradigm that we're in. Like everything is being covered in love. Yeah. But he can't cover you. He can, but love won't infiltrate that place if you hold on to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It just can't infiltrate it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's who we really are, though. We are love infiltrators.
Yeah. That's true.
So let me hear your notes. I know you took some notes.
Well, they were sporadic. Sometimes I'll go through the week and I'll take notes when something happens and I'll just be like, oh, this would be good to cover in the podcast.
Love that.
Even if it, probably won't go with the theme.
Who cares?
But I'll tell you what I jotted down.
Do it.
I'll just start doing this. I'll have some notes.
I should probably start doing that too.
And I'll have some, it'll just be fun. Okay, funny one. Start off with this one. Have you seen that Faith, Hope, and Love logo?
Yeah.
Okay. We were, Kelsey and I were leaving somewhere, and it was in front of us. And I saw it, and I never really thought about it. The middle one, Hope. Mm-hmm. So faith is the cross.
Yeah.
Love is a heart. And hope is a red line. Like if you go to the hospital, it's a, you know what I'm talking about on those monitor things? Like a heart rate.
It's your heartbeat.
Yeah. But I was like joking about it. I was like, hope? That's what they came up with for hope? What is that? Like somebody's dying and the hope is what's keeping us
alive?
The victim mentality of hope? Is hope limited to the red line? That's one of my notes. I just got a kick out of that. I thought it was silly.
We're redlining, man.
Yeah. Oh, here's another
You
one.
only have hope if
somebody's dying. Like it's like that's what hope is. That's where you have hope. You can't apply it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Shit.
I have a story for that in just a second, but keep going.
Oh, do you? Let's go. Let's just real quick.
Real quick. No, that was something that we had an old friend of ours. I mean, I've known this. Whoa.
Your mic.
I've known this lady since, like when I was born.
Yeah.
Like I've known her forever. I guess, truthfully, it's where I learned a lot of my coping mechanisms, like sarcasm and bitterness. And they're just very dry. They're kind of, whatever. Well, she ended up having 3 strokes. It attacked both sides of her brain and her brain stem.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Her body shut down. Well, she passed away.
Wow.
But they were sending out all these messages that were like, we need a miracle. We need a miracle. Let's hope in God. And it was just like, I'm all for contending till the very moment, till the very end, right?
Yeah.
But I was looking at it and it made me have that thought, like, what's the fruit of the rest of your life?
Right.
Like, are you hoping in God for everything?
Right.
Or just when something dire happens? Mm-hmm. Just when it's like a last minute plea?
Yeah.
Like you're pleading for something on their deathbed. It's like,
that's what this thing was like.
Yeah. I was just like, and I'm not hating against them at all.
Right.
But that was like the culture I grew up in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is like you plead and you beg and you.
And that's the hope, is maybe he'll do it.
Maybe he'll do it. Yeah.
And it's like fat chance he will.
Yeah.
But maybe he will. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, I think these things are funny. When I see all these things, they make me laugh.
Yeah.
But it's very sad. Just because I know the truth of it. I know like what the fullness of it is. And it's like hope is what you have. Like constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the light before you, I don't know. It's just what you have all the time. It's not some distant faith, hope, and love. It's not some distant thing you can't reach.
Yeah.
And you only have it, and it's only available in moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a constant thing that you surround yourself with, and you just have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
To me, it makes me think like hope really is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Hope is him.
Yeah.
Because he is the comforter. He's the one that is around you at all times. Like he is in you. He is the one that births expectation. He is the one that leads us into all truth. He is, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting to see that. And they were, great.
Mm-hmm.
They were very religious people and whatever.
Yeah,
it was just that context of like,
I've seen it all my life too.
Yeah, just last minute plea bargains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, I'm in a tight spot. Now let's flip the hope switch on.
Yeah, now let's expect a miracle.
Yeah.
It's like, you can expect a miracle every day.
Yeah.
You can actually live with your mind open, your mind blown, like unlimited to see him move and interact with him every day.
Absolutely.
Anyways, all right. That was my small story.
I wasn't trying to rush you on that.
No, it's okay.
Okay. But anyways, that kind of leads into this another thing that I wrote down was like listening to all these Bob Jones stories and like Bobby Conner and all the supernatural stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm about to start really expecting and hoping for those things.
No doubt.
And I was like, I just want to go ahead and just claim that.
Mm-hmm.
let's go ahead and claim that stuff. We're going to float around. We're going to teleport.
Yeah.
And it's like, why not? God wants to show himself in that arena.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like the mature function in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like,
the mature function in it regularly.
Yeah, it's just normal. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, claim that. Let's do all that stuff.
You know, it was funny. I was listening today to Rick Joyner and Bob Jones talk about John Wimber, which I don't know if you know anything about him from the Vineyard. Crazy healing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he saw some of the craziest things in all of North America.
Yeah.
Maybe even the world, honestly. Yeah. But he said that he prayed for 1,000 people before he ever saw one get healed. And he told the Lord, I'm not giving up until I see one.
Right.
Because this is what you said.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they had a running joke, him and Rick Joyner, that was like, we're so unanointed in this that somebody they may leave crippled and blind when they just showed up crippled.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, you kind of reversed it. And it made me laugh so hard. Because I was just like, one, that's just funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, because you can make light of things that you're just not.
Yeah, for sure.
But then when John did finally heal somebody, he tried to talk him out of it. He was like, no, you're not healed. No, I just don't think. Because that had been his experience for so long. 1,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's now seen thousands. I mean, he's passed away now, but he saw thousands before. Or, you know, probably 4 or 5, maybe 6,000 people healed.
Yeah.
After this. And so then I guess him and Rick Joyner were ministering together. And there was a girl who had shown up with her arm. It was paralyzed from birth.
Yeah.
And John prayed over it and it grew 4 inches. And then she started screaming. I can't see.
Oh no.
Rick goes, oh my gosh, I think we did it.
You spoke it on you.
Yeah, like crippled and blind.
Yeah.
But no, he goes, well, she actually left seeing and
that's good.
Full function of her arm.
Oh yeah.
She was completely healed.
Right.
But it just made me laugh because I was like, these dudes are like, they are the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but for them to get into a place of discouragement.
Yeah.
Of just like, yo, I'm not seeing this thing. I'm not seeing this thing.
Right.
But what they did was they made light of it. Like they brought joy into the situation.
Yeah, right.
I was like, I wonder if that is what actually kind of broke them out.
Right.
Of what looked like,
I can see that, yeah.
You know, like when you look like you're constantly hitting up to something and you're like, yo, why am I not breaking through? Like, what if you brought joy into that?
Yeah, I can already feel that.
Is joy the key to a breakthrough of stuff? Like finding joy in the situation.
And shattering that disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think of James.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like, consider it pure joy, my brethren.
Yeah.
When you face trials of many kind.
Yeah.
So even though like they were joking about themselves being so unanointed.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
It is funny.
You know,
that
if you
sense.
don't take it in.
Right.
And try and identify with it and just like make it a joke.
Right. Interesting.
I don't know. But you were talking about the big guys and like.
Yeah, the big guys, which is it's our stuff too.
It is definitely our stuff too.
Like
there is
Dad
nobody
does
elite.
It for them, he'll do it with us.
Oh.
You know?
I just so value them because they've practiced it.
I know. And I think that's the key to it.
Yes.
Is following through with it. I think it's the little moments of the difficult ones like, ooh, this one. Just doing what he says.
Yes.
I think that's what,
That's the key.
That's the key.
Like, I respect them because they are our brethren that have followed through.
Bold and follow through, yeah.
Yeah. To me, like Bobby Connor, it is no different than Bobby Connor to Paul, to Peter, to Joshua, to Moses. Like, they're all my brethren.
Yeah.
They're all the ones that were so bold and so courageous. Like, that's my family. That's my lineage.
Right.
I'm not the black sheep of that lineage.
Right.
I am in that.
Yeah.
I'm in that fold and we're a part of that.
Absolutely.
Like, whatever they did, we do.
We get it too, yeah.
Like, literally, we are.
Oh, I love that, yeah. But I love it. It really is like doing what he tells you. Oh, yeah, that's cool. And that's exciting.
Yeah. But I think with joy.
With joy, yeah.
Like.
Well, that's what he is. He's joy.
He is. He had the oil of gladness above all the brethren.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I don't know.
cool.
Yeah. But it is expecting the faith, the expectation of that, expecting whatever you've seen your brother walk through, you can have it too.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
But it's believing that you can have it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's our lineage.
What else do you write down?
Speaking of lineage, this is my other one. I think this is my last one. And this comes via interactions. This one's been a long time coming because it's another thing I've noticed. It's a pattern. It's an idea that has people, many people, but ancestors.
Yeah.
Ancestors. And how do I honor my ancestors and do this for my ancestors? And I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't live for them. Don't you dare live for them. I was like, you can honor them by following the Lord in the now and be responsible with your life.
Yeah.
Don't make it about them. And I guarantee you, they're on the other side floating around the cloud of witnesses. They're not sitting there like, what are you going to do to honor me?
Totally.
Like, how are you going to honor what I did?
Because they see it all.
They see it all now.
Anybody that's crossed over, they've seen it all. They know.
Yeah. And I've seen them. They are waiting on us.
Yes.
Like they're like cheering us on.
Yes.
You know?
I think even people who did not walk on it fully on this side of the tracks, they are still cheering us on.
Yes.
Because they see it for what it is now.
Yeah. I believe that. And so all these people that are like, well, that feel the pressure of that, that's a trap.
Yeah.
And it's like your ancestor is showed up here just like you did, just like we did.
Yep.
It's like, and I'm sitting here like, well, one day if I'm an ancestor, what would I want to put that pressure on them?
No.
Hell no. Seriously? It's like, and I obviously, but yeah, that's another trap. And I've noticed that. So I just wanted to talk about it. Kind of smash it because it's not, I don't live for that. Don't live for that.
Yeah, don't live for anybody.
Don't worship them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would want that. So that was my other one. That's my last one.
I like that, though. I like that thought of like, you can honor ancestors. You can honor, and I think what it looks like to honor something is like, basically like, hey, they weren't for naught.
Yeah.
Like they invested into things. They invested into the earth. They clearly invested into me because I'm here.
Yeah.
Like part of their lineage, their DNA literally had to combine.
Yeah, what we stand on part of it comes from them. Yeah.
Yeah. But your entire life should be founded upon the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, it's like living for Him.
Yeah.
Living for Him above all else.
Right. And then if you are living for your ancestors, at what point is it good enough?
Totally.
Where's the, all right, I've honored them enough. It's just, makes me sick. I mean, I honor them. I honor people who went before me.
Yeah.
But I honor it with my life now.
Yeah.
I honor it with.
Because you live in this moment now.
Yes.
I think that's a part of what honoring is too.
Yeah, being responsible with in the present.
In the present.
Being present, yeah. Absolutely.
Because if you're not cultivating the present moment and you're always either looking back or looking forward, you're outside of eternity.
Right.
Because I believe eternity is in the present moment.
Yeah, right. Right.
Like that is where you can tap in. That's when you can see. That's when you have vision is like, you have to be here.
Right.
Before you can see.
Yeah, that's true.
But I love that though.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those are good
my
themes.
Points.
Those are good themes.
Yeah.
Man.
When are we going to go Skinwalker Ranch?
Yo. Oh, okay. Can we get into that for 5 seconds?
Yeah.
This is just going to be the tail end.
Let's go.
Really has nothing to do with anything else we've talked about.
That's okay.
So I was listening to these guys talk about Skinwalker Ranch, and I found out that all over the world, they have found 1% of all the caves that are actually in the world. they have had more disappearings of people that will like step through portals around certain caves.
Interesting.
Well, they have found like skinwalkers. They've done like night vision stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've been some in New Mexico. There's been some in Amarillo.
Yeah.
There was one spotted recently in Amarillo. I don't know if you've seen that. They literally have a picture of this dude walking around.
I've watched videos of it.
He's
disgusting.
Like a wolf. He's like a wolf walking on human legs.
Okay.
Anyways, but they have portals.
Yeah.
Like they've actually seen these things.
Yeah.
And the skinwalkers will pop in and out of these portals.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a cavern. There's a place, I think it's in New Mexico. I'm going to have to look it up before I say too much more. But they were cannibals.
Yeah.
And so they would eat the people of the tribe.
Okay.
In honor of this god that actually lived among them. But he
Yeah.
was a skinwalker.
Oh, okay.
And he would,
Yeah.
But that was their requirement.
Right.
So if he like lived with them to be their protection, they had to sacrifice and then they had to eat these people.
Yeah.
We should probably put explicit on this one. But
yeah. That's fine.
I thought it was fascinating though.
Yeah, it is.
Because in these caves, they all lived in these caves. And I was like, no wonder when God, like throughout scripture, God talks about caves being like strongholds.
Strongholds, yeah.
Like not only just like lies and stuff, but it seems like that's actually where the demonic tried to physically in the earth hide themselves.
Yeah. In the darkness.
Oh yeah, because I guess like the skinwalkers and a couple of other creatures, Bigfoot's one of them. They have like basically like glow in the dark eyes. Like they become like this clear, bright white.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I had a dream about that one.
No way.
The other night. Yeah. Well, you mentioned the eyes and I was thinking I've seen like some giants and Nephilim in my dreams. And some of the ones like the Bigfoot-esque looking ones.
Yeah.
Their pupils are pure black. There's no humanity in them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I could understand killing one of these things. It's not a human. But the other night, I had a dream where I was walking down a path and this like Haitian dude walked by me. And his eyes were that like foggy white, pale kind of color, translucent, whatever. And he like looked at me like this when he walked by and he had this like smile. And then I was like, I walked by and I'm like, that felt really weird. And I turned and looked at him. And as I looked, he had turned back around and was looking at me, but he was morphing into a giant snake.
Oh, yeah.
But he couldn't, as I saw him, he couldn't move. So it froze him when I saw him. But he had those eyes, you know?
The Haitian dude with the eyes, he was in my dream last night.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That's just interesting.
That is interesting.
Real talk. Yep.
Yeah. Well, he showed up the other night, so.
He's floating around here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting. I love that part of your dream. Like, when you actually look at something, it's frozen.
It's frozen, yeah. And I've seen him do that before. And then when the name of Jesus, I had another one, a couple of them. But there was one, it was in a penthouse or something. It was along the same lines. They have a face, and you can tell they're posing as a human.
Yeah.
But there was one, and I saw them one time, and I said something like, I told them to like say that Jesus is God or something. And this thing like looked at me, and it was smiling, but its face started. It was so painful for it to even think about it. Like it started to break. It looked excruciating. But that's what this one's face looked like when I saw him and looked at him. It's like he was frozen. He was just like painfully
frozen.
Stuck, yeah. So, I don't know. Something about seeing it.
They're
scared of us.
Something about acknowledging.
Yeah.
Acknowledging even what's around you.
Yeah.
Recognizing what's in the room.
Right.
It puts them on notice.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean like they still have free reign. That literally means they are subject to you.
Yeah.
Because if somebody freezes, you can't defend yourself.
Yeah.
You can't run.
It's like Jonathan and his armor bearer.
Yeah.
You just hack them up. They get stuck there, whatever that looked like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, interesting.
That is interesting. I heard somebody say this once. I don't know. It's probably a far reach. Maybe not far. But they were like, have you ever thought about David and Goliath?
Mm-hmm.
Like, David used a stone to hit him in the head.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's what Jesus was. He was the rock.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that actually took out the giant.
Oh, yeah.
But it's our job as David to take out our sword and cut the head off of it.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, that's probably the best way to talk about partnership with the Lord when you're approaching demonic entities or you're approaching things, is like, realize that the Lord has already knocked them down.
Yeah.
He's put them in the position that all you have to do is cut its head off.
That's the reason we see it usually, is to
take care of it.
See it, you can handle it.
Yep.
It's like, it's like that dream that I think I already talked about this on the podcast, the giant in my dream. I did. It was the rage.
Yeah.
But that one, the Lord put it down in front of me and I cut its head off.
Yeah.
He just handled it. And it's like, here you go. It's like Jonathan, an armor bearer,
I think the Lord has handled everything.
Yeah.
Everything has been handled.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you just get to walk out the conquest.
That's it.
Yeah. It's an honor to do it.
And when it's before you, you cut its head off.
Right.
And then you just keep moving forward.
Yeah. That's it.
Like, oh no, he's put so many things before us.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are food for us, things that are nourishment, things that we can actually get off of other people.
Yeah.
Like, break them back into their right mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much, man.
What's cool about David and Goliath? I read this, and it was some sort of Jewish. It was like a non-canonical writing, legend, maybe Jewish legend, but they say that David, he picked up Goliath's sword.
Yeah.
They say that Goliath's sword was like had magic powers.
Probably.
And then it's like cool because he used it throughout his life too. And I can't remember, he picked it up again at some point from a priest. Which was pretty interesting. Because it said this sword was like none other. There was something special about that sword. And so he probably used that sword that Goliath was using to go hack up the other
think
giants.
About it. I bet that Goliath jacked that thing out of the armory of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And David just took that.
There was something to it.
Took that thing back.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It. Yeah,
he hijacked it because he was like, yo, that was mine to begin with.
Oh, that's cool.
But you stole our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're reclaiming magic. We're reclaiming this.
All of it.
All of it.
Oh, yeah. So that's a fun thought.
That is a fun thought. Made me think we were watching The Hobbit last night.
Oh, yeah.
And, it says that the sword that, what's his face? Listen, I'm the worst at Lord of the Rings people characters. The wizard.
Gandalf?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Gandalf with Bilbo.
Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins.
Mm-hmm.
Gandalf gave him a sword, and he said, take this one.
Yeah.
He said it will light blue when the orcs, when things are coming.
Yeah.
It will light blue.
Right.
And I was like, it just struck me so hard. I was like, yo, those are actually the weapons that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Even the weapons that we carry will light up.
Right.
Like, they give us signals.
Right.
Like realizing that we have it.
Yeah.
Okay, while we're on that subject, I'm just going to go into this.
Okay.
But I was reading one day in 1 Samuel, and when Saul he first talked with Samuel, and Samuel basically told him later, like, yo, you're going to be anointed king.
Yeah.
But they set out dinner for him. Well, they held back the thigh of the lamb for him.
Yeah.
Which I whatever reason, I don't know. But I started praying. This is probably a little, I was praying, and out of nowhere, while I was praying about this and reading, I just heard Psalm 45, and I was like, yo, I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
But he said Psalm 45:3. So I was like, okay. Well, it literally says, gird your sword upon your thigh, O mighty one. And this was talking to David. This was not about the Lord.
Yeah.
And it struck me like the sword upon your thigh is the sword of the Spirit.
Yeah.
The thing that Saul was consuming as a king was the thigh, was the authority of God.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know, this whole thing of like the sword of the Spirit that we have, that is one of the greatest weapons.
Right. Yeah.
And you can, I mean, it's seeing by the Spirit. That's how we fight.
Right.
That is like everything that we do, and we put it upon our thigh, which I think is like the strength.
Yeah.
It is the place of the authority. I'm pretty sure it says in Revelation about on his thigh, it's written like King of Kings.
Yeah. Right.
You know? But how much like power we were really carrying and how much we can actually consume.
Yeah.
Like have it within our person.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I thought was interesting was about us fighting, right? Because I don't know, sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm too gung-ho about fighting things.
You're talking to the wrong person.
I know.
I think, you know.
But you know, like, I'm just like, because people can kind of get into that thing where you're like, you over-spiritualize.
You can overdo it,
yeah. And you just kind of over the top and everything is...
warfare on a mass scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it kind of is, but yeah.
I don't know.
I'm with you though. I think it's part of who we are.
Yeah, but I'm always like, feel like there's a delicate balance within my person of like,
okay,
you know, don't go overboard.
Right.
Maybe that's just my own fear. Who knows? But it's something that Jesus said when he was, I think it was when he was before Pilate, right? He said, oh man, I literally hate when I do this. I have it in my head. But basically what he says is somewhere in the Gospels. He says, basically like if my disciples were to fight, they're not of this realm, so they're not going to fight.
Yeah.
And I instantly was like, oh, we fight from the realm that we are from.
That we're from, yeah.
Because Jesus even said, like, yo, if they were from this realm, they would fight you.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Right. That's right.
And so I guess for me, I was like, okay, this gives me a little bit more permission to fight.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
I'll have to find that because I really want it.
Interesting.
But that is an interesting thought.
Yeah.
To me. Anyways. That we can fight.
Yeah.
And we have the power within us, you know?
Yeah.
I think sometimes we don't know how to flex it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's too simple. We don't feel like it'll work.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, it really starts at, I don't know, knowing that you're not the victim. You have to, knowing who you are.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of the timidity and the fear of it, of even thinking about it, because people are afraid to open doors.
But even that itself is like,
yeah.
What door are you afraid of opening?
I know it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what everybody's been taught. Door?
Yeah. Right. If you're with the Lord, you can just open all of them.
No kidding.
If He's with you, you can.
Yeah, that's like
you'll see some open doors.
Yeah.
Will open.
I guess it was somebody that was like, basically like, I guess it's how little of God you actually serve.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're afraid to open a door, then you serve a little God.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I finally found it. It's John 18. It says, Jesus answered Pilate, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would fight."
That's cool.
So that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now my kingdom is not from here. And I just love that.
Yeah,
because it's like, that is the opposite. My servants would fight.
Yeah.
My servants fight from the realm that I'm from.
Yeah.
And I think it's angels.
I
think it's us. It's everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one kind of really gets me. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways.
He said it.
He said it means it's ours.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think that's all for today on my end of it.
That's all she wrote, folks. I think that's
the end. That's all, folks. That's it. Well, okay, good deal. Okay, so I haven't always been like this with the darkness and stuff, and I encountered things before.
Mm-hmm.
I told some ghost stories, and I didn't know the power that I had, always. Yeah. Now I do, and I love it, and it's great. But a key aspect of it is being surrounded by people.
Other giant killers. And I never would have done that had I not shown up to Hoff. And I've been feeling this, and I meant to write that in my notes, but like if anyone listening to this is searching for more, and wants to be surrounded by giant killers, but is really searching for like who the Lord is in a fuller way. Maybe you're not getting it somewhere. Like I felt like inviting you to our house. Yeah.
Tyler House of Faith.
It's 107 East Irwin.
Yeah.
Tyler, Texas.
Mm-hmm. Sundays.
10 a.m.
Used to be Fridays.
Used to be.
But I've been feeling that, so I'm glad I remembered it before we cut this off. But if anybody,
yeah,
is even curious or is like feeling pulled towards, more or wanting to, feel free, swing by. We'll be there.
We'll definitely be there.
And we're always there. I don't think we miss ever. And
nope.
You'll be surrounded by solid people pursuing the same thing. And that's what's cool. We're all growing, and we're all after the fullness of what the Lord has for us.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I really value about our house is that everybody authentically desires the Lord above all else.
Yeah.
And then we desire relationship with each other. And it's so pure.
Yeah.
I promise you've not been to another place. We'll walk into another place. At least in this region.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But it instantly feels like home.
Yeah.
It feels like it feels like home. It feels like family. There's no weird vibes.
Yeah.
And I know this as a collective, we legitimately see every single person that comes in as our brother and sister.
Yeah.
That we haven't probably ever seen before.
Right.
But we're all for it.
Yeah.
We love it. We want people to feel at home. We want people to actually experience the Lord.
Absolutely.
And get so stirred up that they connect to Him.
Yeah.
And then release Him wherever they go.
Yeah.
Like that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Not that you have to be a part of the Hoff forever and ever, but
yeah.
Definitely come and
if you want to visit,
search it out,
walk
man.
In. Probably be able to feel it when you walk in.
Oh, you will.
So.
And if not, then you'll definitely feel it during worship.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But it's good. There's an invitation. You're definitely welcome.